The story of the film starts by introducing the main character, Roy. Roy is a soldier in the army, but he is currently in a dire situation. He is trapped in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over again. He is unable to move beyond the stay in time. Whenever he dies, the day resets, and he wakes up back at the beginning. As a result, he has been living the same day repeatedly for a long time. Now, he knows exactly what will happen each day and wakes up at 7 a.m. Every morning, a killer comes to try and kill him. After escaping from him, Roy kills him. Then a helicopter comes outside his house and a man fires bullets at him. Because he has lived this day before. So, he knows where a bullet will be fired and how to save from this. While avoiding bullets, he gets down on a truck from the window. When Roy was walking on the road, two girls were following him in the car. They also wanted to kill Roy and, after chasing her, they finally kill him. The day goes from where it started, it resets. After dying, again and again, he finally learns how to escape from these girls. When he escapes from them, another girl comes in front of him. She is a swordswoman and she knows well to wield the sword. There is another killer who daily throws a bomb on him. If Roy escapes from both of them, there is another killer. He wants to kill Roy and is quite brave than him. If he even escapes from him, two Germans come in front of him. They have big guns in their hands. Well, if he survives himself from them, there is a boy who is exactly his looks like. He'll kill him. We'll name him Roy number 2. There are many people who are killing Roy. If he escapes from one, then the other will not leave him. And if he escapes from the second one, then surely the third one will kill him. Whatever he does, he has to die daily for many of them. Here, we learn that he has a wife. His wife knows about Roy's time loop very well. One day, he calls his wife on her lab where she works. But her boss picks up the call and tells Roy she has an accident and she dies as a result. Roy daily goes to a hotel where he always looks at a girl whom he likes and he befriends a boy there. He always explains to him that we should never do anything wrong, like murder, theft, and other wrongdoings that have a negative impact on our society and security. Roy keeps on looking at the same girl while ignoring him. As it becomes 12:48, many people come to the hotel to kill him. He begins to recall his past. The time before this trouble, when the time loop started. Now, Roy's wife is working on a special mission that is assigned to her by her boss. She calls Roy to her lab and he asks her, "Why did you call me here? What is the matter?" She lightly tells him that my company is hiring new people. I thought I would get you a job here too. After saying this, she begins to measure Roy's body. Along with blood and hair samples, her boss was sitting outside with his companion. They were continuously looking at them from the cameras. The mission his wife was working on looked like a big machine. After seeing it, Roy asks if you're working on this project. What is this and why it is used for? She tells him that it is a mission that can change the time. If it is not used properly, it can cause destruction. It can take people's life. During this, we learn that they have a son, whom Roy's wife is bringing him up after keeping him away from Roy. Meanwhile, her boss's companion comes and tells her, though he is your husband, he isn't from our lab, he is an outsider, and outsiders are not allowed here. She says, I know, but I had to talk about something important, so I had to call him. And I'll talk to the boss about it. And when Roy begins to go, she tells him, I have kept a birthday gift for you, open it surely. One more important thing, learn one word and memorize it. It can be helpful for you, and the word is rosary. After his departure, the boss tells his companion to end him now. Kill him with the help of some people. Because the mission on which we're working is quite dangerous. As he has seen this all, so he will surely tell about this everyone outside. After calling Roy's wife, he scolds her and tells her, when you know any of the outsiders are not allowed in the lab, so, why did you call him? You've done a huge mistake, you've to pay a huge amount for this. At night, a girl, a dentist, comes to Roy when he was sitting in a bar. They befriend each other. As she leaves, his wife calls her. She tells Roy, listen to me, I'm working on a big mission. I need your help in this mission, but her boss disconnects the phone's wire. And she can't convey her full talk. And later she tries to put his blood and hair samples on the machine. Her boss sees her doing this, and he sends his companion to stop her. In this scene, the thought of past thoughts Roy was having. After coming out from the thought, he begins to recall his wife's gift. His wife has also instructed him to open it. Later, he opens it and it was a book in which the word Osiris she has asked to memorize was also written. Later, the helicopter comes to kill him but he escapes them as always. Later, he begins to read the book after coming here. After reading its story, Roy begins to think about how this story can help him. Later, after seeing his son, he begins to chase him to talk to him. Later, we see all the screens there begin to have a defect. But Roy doesn't notice this and goes after his son, and asks him, "Son, you've to be in the school, what are you doing here?" Later, he begins to come out after taking his son. Later, he sees the time and it was 12:50. He thinks that the killers daily come at 12:48 to kill me. It is 12:50 and they've to come till now and should have killed me. But I know they have put a tiny device in my body to find me. And they'll come after some time and will kill me. During his thought, the killers come and kill him. The day again starts, and he goes to his hotel friend. He explains to him, and Roy tells him that I think someone has put a device in my body to find me, and you know about this, and tell me in which part of the body it is fixed. He tells Roy that he doesn't know much but surely it puts in the teeth. Later, Roy begins to recall the past. When Roy met the dentist girl, she had mixed something in his drink. He fainted, and she put the device in his teeth while he's unconscious. This all was done on his wife's boss's instructions. He has put the device by the dentist in Roy's teeth. If he escapes from one killer, the other will kill him. After knowing about this, he immediately puts out this device from his teeth. Later, Roy too comes and kills him. The next day, Roy wakes up, obviously, it was a new day. He has a device in his mouth that he pulls out. The same dentist was also there, and he asks her who has asked her to do this. She finally tells him that your wife's boss has sent her. Roy keeps on killing the murderers with this device. After taking the phone of one of the murderers and calls his wife's boss. He says, "You've killed my wife and I'm coming to have revenge on you." He begins to enter the boss's lab but every time the security kills him. One day, he finally enters after killing them all. But the swordswoman comes in front of him. And he keeps on dying by her every time. Later, his wife's boss talks to him. He learns that the mission on his wife is working in the boss's lab. Actually, this mission is named Osiris. And she has given him the book as a gift to tell him about this. Because she can't tell him directly about this. She also informed him that the world can be destroyed by this. Actually, her boss wants to change the time with this mission. So, he can rule the world. To stop her boss, she trapped Roy in a time loop and created a defect in the mission. Roy comes to the girl in the hotel whom he keeps on looking at. She was also an expert swordswoman. Roy requests her to teach him swordplay. Later, she agrees and teaches good swordplay to Roy. This time Roy goes to the lab after taking the swords instead of the gun. Finally, he kills the swordswoman who was stopping his way for long. He goes to kill the boss, and his boss tells him, "If you kill me, your soul will also be killed." Despite this, he doesn't listen to him and kills him. To save his son, Roy directly goes to the place where his son met him. But he got late and they killed his son. During this, the mission was started and a huge explosion hits there. Roy dies in this incident including many other people. The next morning, he was quite sad and hopeless when he woke up. He thinks, "I've worked a lot but it was useless." He dies again and again from these killers as always. He thinks this won't end like this, so I do spend this time with his son every time. He does this, and he spends a good amount of time with his son. Both become quite happy, and Roy doesn't tell him that he is his father. He tells him, "I'm your friend." During their conversation, he tells, "I've talked to Mama today." Roy becomes shocked to hear this and thinks, "It means my wife is still alive, she hasn't died yet." After going into the lab, he asks about his wife after beating the companion of the boss. He begins to tell that your wife has put a defect into the mission. So, the boss can't use it. When the boss learned about this, he killed your wife. Roy learns from the cameras that they've killed his wife at 7:14. He takes his life to save his wife. He wakes up at 7 a.m. because he has died after taking his life. He has only 14 minutes to save his wife. A helicopter comes to where Roy was, and he goes to the boss's lab with its help. He kills all the people in the lab with help of a powerful gun. Who has to kill his wife at 7:14 a.m. He saves her and Roy's wife apologizes to him. Please forgive me, I had to trap you in the time loop unwillingly. Because I had no other way to stop my boss except this. And I couldn't clearly tell you about this. Because the people of the boss had kept an eye on me. So, I had trapped you in the time loop and I damaged the mission. I've damaged the mission by you, the blood and hair samples I've taken from you. I've put them into the machine after getting a proper chance. Now, you can repair everything after going into this mission, that is like a machine. It means, if you go into this mission, the time will be reset. You can restart your time, you'll get rid of the time loop. The time loop will be ended and you'll proceed in the day. His wife's eyes fill with tears, and she says, Roy, I wanted to be a good man. He has finally returned. He has put his life in danger to save his wife, son, and everyone. Later, he goes in that mission after bidding farewell to his wife. The movie ends with this: farewell to his wife. The movie ends with this: farewell.